Thank you, colleagues. Can you hear me now? There goes. Thank you, everyone, for allowing us to take that short break here. We need to clarify some things here, and there was a little bit of technical difficulties too as well. With that, colleagues, let me go ahead and go back to Minnesota to do a roll call. Make sure we're right back in order of things. So we'll get a roll call, and then I'll go back to recap where we're at and what the vote was that was just taken.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
What did
Honorable Elmer Begay. Honorable Elmer Begay did not answer roll call. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr.
Delegate Kelly is present.
Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. is present. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay is present.
Honorable Paul Begay is present. Honorable Nathaniel Brown.
Present.
Honorable Nathaniel Brown is present. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton.
Delegate Charles Newton is present.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton answered roll call. Honorable Amber Canesba Crotty.
Yapi Shada, this is Delegate Amber Canesba Crotty. I'm on the line. Thank you.
Honorable Amber Canesba Crotty answered roll call. Honorable Speaker Seth Damon is present. Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr.
Green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr. answered roll call. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland is present. Honorable Pernell Holona. Honorable Pernell Holona. Honorable Pernell Holona answered roll call. Honorable Jamie Henyo. Honorable Jamie Henyo. Honorable Jamie Henyo did not answer roll call. Honorable Vince James. Honorable Vince James is present. Honorable Rick Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez is present.
Honorable Rick Nez answered roll call. Honorable Carl Slater. Honorable Carl Slater is present. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
Present.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. answered roll call. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. is present. Honorable Otto So.
Present.
Honorable Otto So is present. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So did not answer roll call. Honorable Daniel So.
I'm present.
Honorable Daniel So answered roll call. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So did not answer roll call. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. did not answer roll call. Honorable Edison Wanika is present. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Edmund Yazzie answered roll call. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair is present.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair answered roll call. Going back up. Honorable Elmer Begay.
I'm present.
Honorable Elmer Begay answered roll call. Honorable Jamie Hino. Honorable Jamie Hino.
Hino is present.
Honorable Jamie Hino answered. Roll call. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So did not answer. Roll call. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So did not answer. Roll call. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. did not answer. Roll call. Speaker, with a vote of 21 in favor. I'm sorry. You have 21 members present, including yourself.
Now, colleagues, we're officially back in out of recess with 21 members in favor. Colleagues, we did complete amendment number 7. There's a motion by Honorable Slater, second by Honorable Otto. So 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and speaker not voting, motion carried. Motion carried. That, colleagues, I'm going back to the main motion on legislation 0063-22. There's a motion. I do have a new colleague in the queue, Honorable Edmund Yazzie. You have the floor.
Thank you, Speaker, members of the council, and good afternoon to everyone, individuals that are there in the chambers and listening about on phone. Speaker, I'd like to
Chairman
add,
Yazzie, sorry. Chairman Yazzie, I'm sorry to say this, but you have no more time.
On the legislation. Well, if anyone can give me some time.
On the main motion.
If anyone can give me some time, I appreciate it. Anyone, please? Thank you.
Sorry, Chairman. Any other members, colleagues on the main motion before I go back to a reserve time?
Speaker, your chair.
Honorable Eugene So, you don't have any more time.
I just wanted to know where we're at. I lost you guys.
We're on the main motion on legislation 0063-22. Vice Chair Smith, were you going to raise? Vice Chair Smith? That. If nobody else is in the queue, let me go back to reserve time. Chairman Hino, 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Speakers, Vice Chair Smith, put me in the queue.
Chairman Hino. Chairman Hino going twice. Chairman Hino going 3 times. With that, moving on down. Honorable Elmer Brigade, 4 minutes and 5 seconds on reserve time.
Speaker, reserve my time.
Every time, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. That, moving on down. Vice Chair Slater, 3 minutes and 59 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd still like my math project answered, but I will yield the rest of my time. Thank you.
Thank you. You know what? We do have your math correct. Let me try. Go ahead, Mr. Rico. We do have it figured out. We do have that, your answer. Mr. Rico.
Thank you, Speaker. Members of the 24th Navajo Council. The citizen in June, as of June 2022, the unaudited amount was $283,624,719. This legislation 0063-22, the total amount for that one is $20,168,685.34. Other legislations within this.
Point of order. Speaker, point of order. This is Delegate Charles Newton.
There's a point of, hold on, Mr. Rico. There's a point of order by Madam Chair Charles Newton. What is your point of order this afternoon, Madam Chair?
Speaker, yes, good afternoon. Speaker, so number one, Mr. Rico's voice keeps going down. On my end, I can barely hear him. And then the other thing is the whole screen is smudged. It looks like a big purple blurb. So I'm not sure what is going on. Now it's clear. But the sound is going in and out, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can't do anything about the smudging. It's the internet, but we are still collectively going live on Vimeo, Facebook, and YouTube. Or not Vimeo no more, right? Just Facebook and YouTube. Yes. Mr. Rico's voice. Mr. Rico, can you use your manly voice?
Thank you, Speaker and members of 24th Navajo Council. The citizen amount for as of June 30th, 2022, the unaudited amount was $283,624,719. Legislation 0063-22 as of now is at $20,168,685.34. Other legislations within this agenda, there's 8 of them. The total amount for those from the citizen is $63,802,947. That makes a total on this agenda $83,971,632.34. The remaining citizen, if all these legislations pass, $199,653,086.66. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Rico. Moving on down. Back to the floor. A new player, new colleague, Honorable Vice Chair Smith. Floor is yours on the main motion on legislation 0063-22.
Here, Speaker, the Bishop San Dintin, out of the snow sagi, we saw that day. Out of another, what the sun now it I in Lado, Mache, Hanko, it must under the shade, better that a cardo, Ilana, it's in the head, Dishnito, say, Hado, they had this thing later now, sort of this. So I don't know that zero, just on it or be sort of, or the Shia data. Other than that, as the house being the dish was Chicago, as another. Look on later. That's the unknown had a delay, which now they don't they a tweet sign that thing there. The Yal Bichetor Sato, Kato, Wato, Chianayat, Eto, that Egi, Benya State. Okay, what we had this the speaker, Nanta, larger the Sintagi. Deep remaining time again late Chairman Edwin Yazi, but this Nanta.
Thank you, Vice Chair Smith. And working together with the Speaker's office, if you need assistance, let us know. With that, I'm going to allocating the time, remainder time of 3 minutes and 45 seconds by Chairman Yazi. Chairman Yazi.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, Mr. Smith. Members of the council, since I have just 3 minutes, thank you again, Mr. Smith, for your time. Speaker, I'd like to add an amendment. I'd like to get my colleagues' support. As you know, colleagues, we have been voting in this legislation and in the past, and always voted in favor, because I know each delegate wants to advocate for their area. And so my amendment, and I'm pleading with my colleagues, is amendment. The budget has been sent to Ms. Barbara, emailed. It's a for Mariano Lake multi-purpose building. It's going to be building's going to be used for a veteran center, chapter house, and a senior center. All the documents has been put together and is ready to go. And the budget forms also is complete with the package that has been emailed, and so and it's in the amount of 10 million, and so this will really benefit our area for all ages of our chapter. So I don't know if I can reserve time on given time, but I would like to make that amendment, and I'm hoping Ms. Barbara has gotten the email of all the documents. Speaker, can I reserve my time, sir?
Unfortunately, you can't.
Okay. So how much more minutes do I have?
2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Okay. So let me just kind of go ahead and talk about this amendment more, my colleagues. Again, this is for Mariano Lake, and this is for a multi-purpose building. The old chapter house has been demolished, and there was asbestos and mold that was found in the chapter, and for safety reasons, it was immediately torn down. And so now the chapter is meeting in a portable building, and when we have our meetings, we have it outside. But now that the winter weather is going to be upon us, we'd like to start some construction for this building. And so I know our elders, and we always say we are in touch of our elders and our youth. This is something that they are looking forward to, something that they want to see in their lifetime. And so our chapter president is Mr. Jay DeGroat. And as you all know, Jay DeGroat is the one that designed our Navajo Nation flag, and he's a retired preschool teacher. And then our vice president, Henry Begay, and then and we just a couple of months ago we had lost our vice president, and he has passed, and because of health reasons, and we were there to just keep the community to be strong. So this building, my colleague, is for a veterans building. That's all in one plan, a senior center. And our senior centers, right now our seniors are being transported to, our food's being delivered from Smith Lake chapter. And so hopefully, COVID will go ahead and we'll reduce COVID where our elders can start meeting. But the services is provided all from Smith Lake chapter. So my colleagues, again, I'm pleading that we support this amendment on behalf of Mariana Lake and on behalf of their request. And so I'm looking at my laptop and I'm hoping that okay. All right. So colleagues, please need your help. That'd be my motion.
Thank you. There's amendment from Mariana Lake. Office Legislative Services has not received it. Let me go to Office Legislative Council. Office Legislative Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is Laraline with OLC. I just received the documents necessary to do this amendment, so it will take me about 5 to 7 more minutes to get this emailed out. Thank you.
Thank you. That time, if there's somebody that would like to raise that amendment for Honorable Chairman Yazzie later, I'm going back to the floor because that amendment is not ready at this time. With that, any other comments or questions at this time, colleagues? Not, I can go back to reserve time. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Chairman Hino.
So let's take your name and I'll reserve my time.
3 minutes and 13 seconds. Moving on down. Honorable Elmer Begay, 4 minutes and 3 seconds. Honorable Elmer Begay, 4 minutes and 3 seconds.
Reserve my time.
Sure, we time at 4 minutes and 1 second. Get on down. Let's see any more comments or questions. Nobody else with reserved time. Go back to the floor. Any other further comments, questions, colleagues? Not? Go back to reserved time. Chairman Hino, 3 minutes and 13 seconds.
So Speaker Dane and I guess I'll just waive my time because we're all out of time. Nobody wants to talk to me myself. Waive my time.
You. Waives his time. With that, moving on down. Honorable Elmer Begay, 4 minutes and 1 second. On reserve time. Waive his time. That, colleagues, have anybody else with reserve time? I don't have anybody else in the queue. Ready to vote? Going twice on the main motion on legislation 0063-22. Only 3 times. Let's go board. Second reading, actually. Good luck, Mr. Rico. Drink some water.
Thank you, Speaker. Member 24th Nomination Council. Amendment number, we have 7 amendments. Amendment number 1 on page 1, line 14, page 3, lines 3, 19, 23, and 27 on page 4, lines 3, 8, 10, 17, 19, and 22. Overstrike $1,600,000 and insert $2,833,333.34. 2 on page 1, line 15, make the word shortfall plural. 3 on page 1, line 16, at the word project and before the semicolon, add the following new sentence, and the Tohananesdize Senior Center project 4, on page 1, line 16, delete the word reapproving and insert approving. 5, on page 1, line 17, make the word plan plural. 6, on page 3, line 5, exhibit after exhibit A, add the following new sentence. New sentence, $1,233,333.34 from the Citizen Fund is also requested to cover a funding shortfall for the Tunanes Dize Senior Center project. The Tunanes Dize chapter's proposal for this project is attached here to as Exhibit A-1. End of new language. 7, attached as new Exhibit A-1, the proposal for the Tunanes Dize Senior Center project. 8, on page 3, line 29, make the following changes. Overstrike as explained in Exhibit A and Exhibit B, insert new language underscore, and the Tunanes Dize Senior Center project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A1, and Exhibit B. 9, on page 3, at line 30, delete the word reapproves and insert approves and make the word plan plural. 10, on page 4, line 2, at the end of the sentence, ending with architect, insert new sentence, underscore, and for the completion of the Tunanes Dize Senior Center project. End of new language. 11, on page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new sentence, underscore, and for the completion of the Tunanes Dize Senior Center project as explained in the attached Exhibit A-1. Amendment number 2. On page 1, line 14, on page 3, lines 3, 19, 23, and 27, page 4, lines 3, 8, 10, 17, 19, and 22, overstrike $1,600,000 and insert $5,833,333.34. 2, page 1, line 15, make the word shortfall plural. 3, on page 1, line 16, after the word project and before the semicolon, add the following new sentence, underscore, and the Westwater Community Project in Blanding, Utah. 4, on page 1, line 16, delete the word reapproving and insert approving. 5, page 1, line 17, make the word plan plural. 6, on page 3, at line 5, after Exhibit 8, add the following new sentence, underscore. The Division of Natural Resources, the Department of Water Resources, DWR, is also requesting $2,500,000 from the Citizen Fund to finish the Westwater Community Project, Westwater Project, located in Blanding, Utah. The engineering report for the Westwater Project, which concludes a detailed cost estimate starting on page 100, labeled Appendix C, detailed cost estimate, is attached as Exhibit A-1. The Fiscal Recovery Funds request form and expenditure plan for the Westwater Project is attached as Exhibit A-2. The initial eligibility determination for the Westwater Project prepared by the Department of Justice also attached as Exhibit A-3. The Westwater Project documents show a requested amount of $5,500,000, but $3 million from the Navajo Nation's American Rescue Plan Act funds was already allocated by the Navajo Nation Council on June 30th, 2022. Thus, DWR is now requesting only $2,500,000 for the Westwater Project. End of new language. 7, attached as new Exhibit A-1, the engineering report for the Westwater Project dated March 21st, 2022. 8, attached as new Exhibit A-2, the Fiscal Recovery Fund request form and expenditure plan for the Westwater Project dated June 30th or June 23rd, 2022. 9, attached as Exhibit A-3, the initial eligibility determination for the Westwater Project from the Department of Justice dated June 23rd, 2022. 10, on page 3, line 29, make the following changes. After overstrike, as explained in Exhibit A and Exhibit B, insert new language, underscore, and the Westwater Project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A-1, Exhibit A-2, Exhibit A-3, and Exhibit B. 11, on page 3, line 30, delete the word reapproves and insert approves, make the word plan plural. 12, on page 4, line 2, at the end of the sentence ending in architect, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new clause. New language, underscore, and for the completion of the Westwater Project, end of new language. 13, on page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new clause. New language, underscore, and for CPMD's use in completing the Westwater Community Project as explained in Exhibit A-1, Exhibit A-2, and Exhibit A-3. Amendment number 3. 1, on page 1, line 14, on page 3, lines 3, 19, 23, and 27, on page 4, lines 3, 8, 10, 17, 19, and 22, overstrike $1,600,000 and insert $8,602,607 $2,000.34. Overstrike 2, page 1, line 15, overstrike shortfall and insert the new word needed. 3 on page 1 at line 16 after the word project and before the semicolon add the following new sentence underscore and the Solani Cottonwood chapter senior center project. 4 page 1 line 16 delete the word reapproving and insert approving. 5 on page 1 line 17 make the word plan plural. 6 on page 3 at line 5 after exhibit A add the following new sentence underscore CPMD is also requesting $3,269,274 from the Citizen Fund for the design, planning, and construction of a new Solani Cottonwood Chapter Senior Center Project, TC project. CPMD's project proposal and cost estimate for the TC project are attached as Exhibit A-1. Also, the Solani Cottonwood Chapter's project proposal from the chapter coordinator is attached as Exhibit A-2, end of new language. 7, attached new Exhibit A-1, the CPMD project proposal and cost estimate for the TC project. 8, attach as new Exhibit A-2, the Solani Cottonwood Chapter's project proposal from the chapter coordinator, Charlene Wallace, dated May 12, 2021. 9, on page 3, line 19, add a new paragraph F as follows. New paragraph F underscore. The Office of Environmental Health Engineering with the USDHHS/PHS has prepared a comprehensive institutional survey and a facilities condition assessment for the existing Solani Cottonwood Senior Center showing the extensive repairs and renovations that are urgently needed. Notably, the OEHE reports indicate that the reissuance of the sanitation permit for this facility should not be reissued because of significant deficiencies. Exhibit G, end of new language. 10, attach as new Exhibit G, the OEHE institutional survey and facilities condition assessment for the existing Solani Cottonwood Senior Center dated April 8, 2021. 11, page 3, line 19, after inserting new paragraph F above, add new paragraph G as follows. New paragraph G underscore, the Solani Cottonwood chapter and the Cottonwood Local Seniors Council have adopted resolutions in support of the TC project, Exhibit H, end of new language. 12, attach as new Exhibit H, the Solani Cottonwood chapter resolution number TSEL-21-640 and the Cottonwood Local Seniors Council resolution number LSAC-21-020. 13 on page 3, line 29, make the following changes. Overstrike as explained in Exhibit A and Exhibit B, insert new language underscore and the Solani Cottonwood Chapter Senior Center project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A-1, Exhibit A-2, and Exhibit B, end of new language. 14 on page 3 at line 30, delete the word reapproves and insert approves, make the word plan plural. 15 on page 4, line 2, at the end of the sentence, ending in architect, delete the period, insert a comment, add the following new sentence underscore, and for the design, planning, and construction of the new Solani Cottonwood Senior Center project, end of new language. On page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comment, and add the following new sentence underscore, and for CPMD's use in completing the Solani Cottonwood Senior Center project as explained in Exhibit A-1 and Exhibit A-2. Amendment number 4, 1 on page 1, line 14, page 3, lines 3, 19, 23, and 27, page 4, lines 3, 8, 10, 17, 19, and 22. Overstrike $1,600,000, insert $10,753,983.34. 2 on page 1, line 15, make the word shortfall plural. 3, page 1, line 16, after the word project and before the semicolon, add the following new sentence underscore, and the Vicente Chapter Veterans Center project. 4, page 1, line 16, delete the word reapproving, insert approving. 5, page 1, line 17, make the word plan plural. 6, page 3, line 5, after Exhibit A, add the following new sentence underscore. CPMD is also requesting $2,151,376 from the Citizen Fund to finish the Vicente Chapter Veterans Center project. Vicente Chapter CPMD's funding request and appropriate budget forms for the Vicente Chapter are attached as Exhibit A-1. Also, a project executive summary from the Vicente Chapter President is attached as Exhibit A-2. End of new language. 7, attach new Exhibit A-1, the CPMD project documents and budget forms for the Vicente project. 8, attach as new Exhibit A-2, the project executive summary from Jonathan Perry, the Vicente Chapter President, 3 pages. 9 on page 3 at line 29, make the following change. Overstrike as explained in Exhibit A and Exhibit B and insert new language underscore and the Vicente Chapter Veteran Center project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A-1, Exhibit A-2, and Exhibit B in the new language. 10 on page 3, line 30, delete the word reapproves, insert approves, make the word plan plural. 11 on page 4, line 2, at the end of the sentence, ending in architect, delete the period, insert a comment at the following new sentence. New sentence underscore and for the completion of the Vicente Veteran Center project. End of new language. 12 on page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comment at the following new sentence. New sentence underscore and for CPMD's use in completing the Vicente Chapter Veteran Center project as explained in Exhibit A-1 and Exhibit A-2. Amendment number 5, page 1, line 14, page 3, lines 3, 19, 23, and 27, page 4, lines 3, 8, 10, 17, 19, and 22, overstrike $1,600,000 and insert $17,965,629.34. 2 on page 1, line 15, overstrike shortfall and put insert needed. 3 on page 1, line 16, after the word project and before the semicolon, add the following new sentence, underscore, and the Gariay Tukoi Chapter Community Building Project. 4, page 1, line 16, delete the word reapproving, insert approving. 5 on page 1, line 17, make the word plan plural. 6, page 3, line 5, after Exhibit A, add the following new sentence, CPMD, new sentence underscore CPMD, and the Gariay Tukoi chapter are also requesting $7,211,646 from the Citizen Fund for the construction of the Gariay Tukoi chapter community building project. Gariay Tukoi project. The project's executive summary is attached as Exhibit A-1. 7 attached as new Exhibit A-1, the project executive summary. 8, after the new sentence in item 6 above, add the following new sentence. Underscore a CPMD cost estimate is attached here to as Exhibit A-2. 9, attached as new Exhibit A-2, the CPMD cost estimate for the Gariay Tukoi project dated February 4th, 2022. 10 on page 3, at line 29, make the following changes. Overstrike as explained in Exhibit A and Exhibit B, and insert new language underscore and the Gariay Tukoi project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A-1, Exhibit A-2, and Exhibit B. 11 on page 3, line 30, delete the word reapproves and insert approves and make the word plan plural. 12 on page 4, line 2, at the end of the sentence, ending in architect, delete the period, insert a comment, add the following new sentence underscore, and for the construction of the Gariay Tukoi project, end of new sentence. 13 on page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new sentence underscore, and for CPMD's use of in completing the Gariay Tukoi project as explained in Exhibit A-1 and Exhibit A-2. Amendment number 6, 1 on page 1, line 14, page 3, lines 3, 19, 23, and 27, page 4, lines 3, 8, 10, 17, 19, and 22. Overstrike $1,600,000, insert $20,168,685.34. 2, page 1, line 15, delete shortfall and put and insert needed. 3, page 1, line 16, after the word project and before the semicolon, add the following new sentence underscore, and the Nazlini Chapter Senior Center project, end of new language. 4, page 1, line 16, delete reapproving, insert approving. 5, page 1, line 17, make the word plan plural. 6, page 3, line 5, after Exhibit A, add the following new sentence underscore CPMD, and the Nazlini chapter are also requesting $2 million from the Citizen Fund for the construction of the Nazlini Chapter Senior Center Project, Nazlini Project. CPMD's request memorandum and the Nazlini Chapter resolution for the Nazlini Project are attached as Exhibit A-1, end of new language. 7, attached as new Exhibit A-1, the memorandum from Marcus Murphy with CPMD dated July 14, 2022, and the Nazlini Chapter resolution number NAZL-July-22-065 dated July 6, 2022. 8, after the new sentence in item 6 above, add the following new sentence underscore an executive summary project budget schedule, CPMD cost estimate, scope of work, and a project drawing are attached hereto as Exhibit A-2, end of new language. 9, attach new Exhibit A-2, the executive summary, project budget schedule, CPMD, cost estimate dated July 13, 2022, scope of work dated July 14, 2022, and project drawing for the Nazlini project. 10, after the new sentence in item 8 above, add the following new sentence. Underscore budget forms for the Nazlini project are attached as Exhibit A-3, end of new language. 11, attached as new Exhibit A-3, the budget forms for the Nazlini project. 12, on page 3, line 29, make the following changes. Overstrike as explained in Exhibit Exhibit A and Exhibit B, insert new language, underscore, and the Nazlini project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A-1, A-2, A-3, and Exhibit B. 13 on page 3, line 30, delete the word reapproves and insert approves. Make the word plan plural. 14 on page 4, line 2, at the end of the sentence ending in architect, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new sentence. New sentence underscore and for the construction of the Nazlini project. 15 on page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new sentence. New sentence underscore and for CPMD's use in completing the Nazlini project as explained in Exhibit A-1, A-2, and A-3, end of new language. 16 on page 1, at line 16, after the word project and before the semicolon, insert the following sentence. Underscore and the Saley Wheatfield Cemetery project, end of new language. 17 on page 3, line 5, after Exhibit A, add the following new sentence. Underscore CPMD is also requesting $203,056 from the Citizen Fund for the design construction of the Saley Wheatfield Chapter Cemetery project. CPMD's explanatory memorandum is attached as Exhibit A-1. A cost estimate for the cemetery project is attached as Exhibit A-2, end of new language. 18, attached as new Exhibit A-1, a memorandum from Shayla Draper, planner with CPMD dated July 20, 2022. 19, attached new Exhibit A-2, the bid price sheet from NECA dated July 7, 2022. 20 on page 3, line 29, make the following changes. Overstrike as explained in Exhibit A and Exhibit B, insert new language, underscore the Saley Wheatfield Cemetery project as explained in the attached Exhibit A, Exhibit A-1, Exhibit A-2, and Exhibit B. 21 on page 4 at line 2, at the end of sentence, ending architect, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new sentence. Underscore new sentence, and for the design and construction of the Saley Wheatfield Cemetery project, end of new language. 22 on page 4, line 13, after Exhibit B, delete the period, insert a comma, and add the following new sentence. Underscore and for CPMD's use in completing the Saley Wheatfield Cemetery project as explained in Exhibit A-1 and A-2. Amendment number 7. 1, in the title of the act, make the following additions and deletions. Overstrike approving, insert allocating. Overstrike $20,168,685.34 and insert $1,600,000 out of the Citizen Fund. Overstrike to cover the funding shortfall for the Overstrike to cover the funding shortfall, end of overstrike for the Ganado Chapter Senior and Veteran Center project. New language underscore comma $1,233,333.34 for the Tonanes Desert Senior Center project, $2,500,000 for the Westwater Community project, $3,269,274 for the Solani Cottonwood Chapter Senior Center project, $2,151,376 for the Vicente Chapter Veteran Center project, $7,211,646 for the Gariay Tokai Chapter Community Building project, $2 million for the Nazlini Chapter Senior Center project, and $203,056 for the Solani Wheatfields Cemetery projects. End of new language. 2, renumber related succeeding paragraphs, sections, and exhibits as necessary and appropriate. The Office of Legislative Services and the Office of Legislative Counsel are hereby authorized to make technical edits to this act and its exhibits, including making adjustments to the total dollar amount from the Citizen Fund allocated pursuant to this act. In order to implement the Council's intent in approving this act, this amendment shall supersede inconsistent language containing any other council or committee amendment, which language shall be conformed to the intent or language of this amendment. Also attached to these amendments are the reference exhibits. Mr. Speaker.
Thank you with that. Mr. Rico, colleagues, let's go to the board on the main motion of legislation 0063-22.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
I'll vote green.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr.
Delegate Allen Begay Jr. votes green.
Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown.
Delegate Brown votes green.
Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton.
Charles Newton votes green.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton votes green. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty votes green via text. Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr.
Green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr. votes green. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland did not vote. Honorable Pernell Holona. Honorable Pernell Holona. Honorable Pernell Holona did not vote. Honorable Jamie Henyo.
Henyo votes green.
Honorable Jamie Henyo votes green. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Rick Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Rick Nez votes green. Honorable Carl Slater votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
Votes green.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr.
Green.
Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. votes green. Honorable Otto So.
I vote green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Charlene So.
I vote green.
Honorable Charlene So votes green. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Honorable Eugene So.
Green.
Honorable Eugene. Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Daniel So votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green via text. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika did not vote. Honorable Edmund Yazzie.
Green.
Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair votes green.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Going back up, Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland votes green. Honorable Pernell Holona. Honorable Pernell Holona. Honorable Pernell Holona votes green. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika did not vote. Speaker with a vote of 22 in favor, 0 opposed, and speaker not voting.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Sorry. 22 in favor, 0 opposed, and speaker not voting, motion carries. That, colleagues, on legislation 0063-22, once that legislation is certified by Speaker's office, that legislation moves across the street for the president's approval or veto or line item veto. That, moving on down onto item number 8, old business. Old business number 8B, legislation 0013-22 is sponsored by Honorable Helona, co-sponsored by myself, co-sponsored by Chairman Ibn Yazi. That there's I'm just trying to get some information, colleagues, about legislation 0013-22. Honorable Helona, are you on the line?
Speaker, yes, I am.
Are you still wanting to do with what you stated earlier with myself and Mr. Rico?
Yeah, I'd like to just make a motion to suspend the floor rule to remove that legislation from the agenda.
Okay.
At this time.
All right. So that's what we'll do. Honorable Helona's motion to suspend the floor rules to delete item number 0013-22 off the agenda, or defer to the next council sessions. So that would be until fall session or earlier. Fall session or earlier. Is there a second?
Delegate Gallagher.
Second, my Honorable Jimmy Yellow here. Colleagues, this is motion to suspend the floor rules. Is 16 votes. So what this is, colleagues, is motion to suspend the floor rules, deleting legislation 0013-22 from the agenda and placing it on to the next Navajo Nation Council session. There is a motion. There's a second. Any comments, questions? There's not. Let's go to the board.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
I will agree.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr.
Yeah, Allen votes green.
Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown.
I vote green.
Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton.
Charles Newton votes green.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton votes green. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty. Honorable Amber Canesba Crotty. Honorable Amber Canesba Crotty did not vote. Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr.
Green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr. votes green. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland did not vote. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Well, votes green.
Honorable Pernell Halona votes green. Honorable Jamie Henyo.
Henyo votes green.
Honorable Jamie Henyo votes green. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Rick Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Rick Nez votes green. Honorable Carl Slater votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr.
Green.
Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr.
Green.
Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. votes green. Honorable Otto So.
Green.
Honorable Otto So votes green. Honorable Charlene So.
I vote green.
Honorable Charlene So votes green. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Honorable Eugene So.
Vote is
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green via text. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika did not vote. Honorable Edmund Yazzie.
Green.
Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair votes green.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Going back up. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty did not vote. Honorable Mark Freeland. Honorable Mark Freeland.
Freeland votes green.
Honorable Mark Freeland votes green. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika did not vote. Speaker, with a vote of 20 in favor, 0 opposed, and speaker not voting.
Thank you, colleagues. 20 in favor, 0 opposed. Speaking of voting, motion carries. That legislation 0013-22 has been officially taken off this agenda from the summer session council session. Moving on down, colleagues, we are on item number 9, which is new business. Under new business, we have item number A, legislation 0258-21, sponsored by Madam Chair Charles Newton. That, Mr. Rico, if you could read it into the record.
Thank you, Speaker. Members of the 24th Nomination Council. Tracking number 0258-21 in action relating to the Resource and Development, Budget and Finance and Napakieta Committees and the Navajo Nation Council, amending CAP-19-16 to transfer the responsibility and permanent trust fund interest funding for the Shiprock Hotel Restaurant Project from the Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise to the Navajo Nation Hospitality Enterprise, allocating $11,400,000 from the Citizen Fund to the Navajo Nation Hospitality Enterprise for the Shiprock Hotel Restaurant Project and approving the NNHE's Shiprock Hotel Restaurant Project Expenditure Plan pursuant to 12 NNC Section 2501 to 2508. Legislation is sponsored by Honorable Madam Chair Eugenia Charles Newton. There are committee reports from the Resource and Development Committee that recommend a due pass with no amendment. A committee report from the Budget and Finance Committee that recommend a due pass with no amendment. And a committee report from the Napakieta Committee that the legislation passed and is referred to the Navajo Nation Council. Per Navajo Nation Council Rules of Order Rule 9, legislation has been read into the record by electronic voice recording. This legislation is a 2/3 legislation, and we'll move on to the Office of the President, Vice President. Mr. Speaker.
Motion, Delegate James.
Second, Delegate Yellowhair.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Motion by Honorable Vince James, second by Honorable Delegate Yellowhair. That, colleagues, on 0258-21. Is there any comments or questions? This legislation is destined for the President's desk. Went twice.
Speaker Daniel.
That, there's questions. That, I'm gonna go to Madam Chair Charles Newton. You have 20 minutes on the board.
Thank you, Speaker Damon. I was hoping it would go straight to vote since we just talked about this at Napakieta. But it doesn't look like that's the case. So right now we are looking to get funding for the hotel in Shiprock, New Mexico. Right now, the Navajo Nation does need a hotel in this location because this location does draw tourism. Near Shiprock, we have monuments like Mesa Verde, Four Corners Monument, and the Shiprock Pinnacle with obviously the other beautiful pinnacles that surround the community, like Table Mesa. We have had several movies filmed at the Shiprock Pinnacle and the surrounding pinnacle, like Table Mesa. In 2021, we had the film Finch, starring Tom Hanks here, that was filmed at the Shiprock Pinnacle. In 2019, we had Jumanji, The Next Level, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Jack Black, Kevin Hart, Awkwafina, Danny DeVito, and Danny Glover. I believe that 4 of those stars did stay in the local area. 3 of them did stay in Farmington. In 2013, we had The Lone Ranger starring Johnny Depp. Mr. Depp was here in the community as well. In 2013, we had the movie The Host. 2012, John Carter. And in 2007, we had the movie Transformers. During that time, none of the stars were able to stay here in the Shiprock community because there was nowhere to stay. In addition to that, we also had We also, in addition to the monuments and then the movies being filmed here in the Shiprock area, we have also seen an increase in the amount of traffic that has gone through this area. And I know that that was a question that did come up at Budget and Finance, and I did share that information with everyone at the Nabikiatskit committee meeting, and I can pull that up again to read it on the record. Originally, this hotel was supposed to be built by the gaming enterprise. However, because of COVID, all of the funds were used to keep gaming afloat, and that was a request from the 24th Navajo Nation Council to Gaming, which was to use their funding, with the projects that they had set aside. We also met with hospitality during that time to try to figure out what we could do to get this project going. Hospitality did come forward and they were willing to take the project. There is funding that is associated with this project. However, gaming did not spend any of those fundings. They did draw down, but none of those fundings were spent. And right now, this legislation is doing two things. Number one is it's requesting money from Citizen, and this is for the shortfall to build the hotel. Number two is it is also turning over the permanent trust fund money from gaming and turning it over to hospitality. That is a requirement that has to be done by law. So that's what this legislation is doing. I know that there was questions the last time regarding the floodplains. Every business on the Navajo Nation is required to have insurance, like fire insurance and flood insurance. And that information was provided by Mr. Stan Sapp at the Nabikiatskit committee meeting. In addition to that, there were other questions about looking at outside funding. And we did look at that option. However, if we do look at outside funding, the Navajo Nation may be required to actually waive their sovereign immunity. There was a hotel company that was interested in building, and that is a company that is called Medallion. However, I did not meet with Medallion for ethical reasons, and I have not heard their plans. I did present this information to Speaker Damon and asked if we could sit down with Medallion, a group of council delegates, to get more information. However, that never happened because the plan was to build and then to purchase back from Medallion. So we thought it best to just stay with hospitality since it's a Navajo Nation enterprise, and they would employ Navajo people in the Northern Agency area, which would include not only the Shiprock community, but the communities surrounding the Shiprock community. I do have my agent on the line, Mr. Stan Sapp. Mr. Sapp, is there anything that you would like to add to this information?
Thank you, Delegate Charles Newton. And good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and delegates. Not the particulars of the hotel are really it. It's going to be a quality hotel, what we consider 3 diamond. But in your mind, what that, if you're not familiar with that term, think more of like a Hampton Inn, a little better than a Holiday Inn Express type deal, with a number of features you'd expect with that, and in particular, a large meeting room, which would hold at least close to 3,000 square feet, which would hold at least 150 participants in a larger meeting that's divisible. That's kind of the details. We answered a lot of the questions at the NABI meeting last week, and I think Delegate Charles Newton kind of went back through those. We're excited about the project and eager to get started and answer your questions. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Sapp. And as was already indicated, we did answer the questions at Nabikiatskit, but we do stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, colleagues, let me go to the floor. This is who I have in the queue at this time. I have Vice Chair Slater, Honorable Vice Chair Smith, and Honorable Herman Daniels. That, Honorable Vice Chair Slater, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And thank you for the presentation, Chair Charles Newton. At the Nabucco TIC committee meeting, I requested a copy of the feasibility study or the information that documents how we came to the numbers on the impact and the viability of the hotel. Still strongly support the concept. I don't think I ever received those. I was checking my email right now and I can't find a copy of that. And then second, I know there was mention that this concept did go before the investment committee. And I thought that that was really important, that the council establishes a precedent that economic development investments that the nation makes go before the committee so that we can properly evaluate what the benefit will be to the nation and make sure we compose the best possible deal for the Navajo people. And as a fiscal steward, I want to make sure that that is something we're doing. So I believe you said at NABI that it did go before them. So I was wondering if I get a copy of the resolution where they declined to invest in the project. I'll reserve my time right now to support the project. Thank you.
Every time at 3:47. Moving on down. Honorable Vice Chair Smith.
Thank you, Speaker and the Nomination Council. Thank you for allowing me to address this legislation that's brought forth with us today. It's a Shiprock Hotel. It's going to be a big investment, and it's a investment that the Navajo Nation is going to be investing in. So with that, Speaker, I'd like to, after we vote on this, if it does pass, I'd like to do a directive on behalf of the insurance for the hotel. I know it's in a flood area, and I keep speaking about it. And it'll be one day when that torrential rains come down and we dare lose the investment of our hotel over there in Shiprock. I'm not against the development of the Shiprock, but just the protection of it. Make sure that we do have adequate flood insurance. So with that, Speaker, reserve the rest of my time, but I'd like to make a directive at the end of the voting here. Thank you.
Thank you. 3 minutes and 49 seconds. That, Vice Chair Smith, I hope you can reach out to Office of Legislative Counsel and get that in advance. So that can be something that can be done right afterwards. That, moving on down, Honorable Daniels. Floor is yours. I'll go back to Manager Charles Newton.
Mr. Speaker, good afternoon. Delegate Eugenia Charles Newton, legislation kita means 12 9 today. Navigated committee has been read the and then there's questions here and there. I don't know. I remember this the Shiprock Hotel. Honorable Tom Chi has been for years with us. Yeah, I see that my kids and so I don't know about the last council. I used to tease Honorable Chief. I brought hotel side and just built the hotel in Monument Valley. Rate the daily traffic count. I know what it's like. Shiprock. 8 o'clock, 7:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 in the evening time. That's when it gets very busy. Busy people coming back from work, people going to work in the morning. It gets busy. Because I used to do business in Shiprock for I don't know how many years. Just sit there, and I know some families there. I know some people there. They have some Diego. They have some home. I don't know. Majority of the travelers, locals, they go back and forth. So one person will go back and forth five in one day. But what I'm interested is how many tourists goes through Shiprock. Okay, in one Aquila tourist, one the car. ADG by night is kiddo letico. I don't know. Navajo Nation Hospitality Enterprise. I know they run the quality in Winter Rock. The Nash Eagle. When you go there, when you look at the parking lot, it really needs attention, Diego. That quality in Winter Rock. I see it in the whole day. Myself, I don't stay in the Winter Rock. The last term that I experienced that's why I don't stay in Winter Rock. I just go home. Sometimes I stay in Gallup. But ADG, the hotel, the ADG, I see between the hotel, the quality in the parking areas, and even the rooms. So taking on another project, a big project. And Navajo Nation Hospitality handled this project. I know game it, but the pandemic went in there. It's not a way so quite you but my main question is how many tourists goes through Shiprock. ADG, I need the numbers. ADG them in one day or in a week and a month. So right, get those numbers. I know that people go there, tour on Mesa Verde or other national parks. In the tourist areas on that side, Four Corners, and on that way, the Grand Circle. Kwajiki, the number of tourists. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Reserve time.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and go back to Madam Chair Charles.
Speaker, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Speaker. Okay, so Delegate Carl Slater, in terms of the hotel study, I did email Mr. Brian Parrish, and I CC'd you in that email just now to ask him if he can send you that the study that was referred to in the presentation. It's called the, I believe it's a market study. So hopefully he'll be able to send that to you. That was the information that was provided to put the plans together for the hotel. In terms of the investment committee, that was done in the 23rd Navajo Nation Council. I don't have any, I'm not on the investment committee. I wouldn't even know, how to get notes from the investment committee from the 23rd Navajo Nation Council. But just as a recap, the Shiprock Hotel was approved for funding during the 23rd Navajo Nation Council, but because gaming depleted their funds for COVID, they depleted the funds used for the project. That project money is now gone, which is why gaming, came forward and said it would probably take about 10 years for them to come back and I guess build up their funds, their project funds to where it used to be prior to COVID. And so in terms of the investment committee, I would probably have to work with Speaker Damon to see when this project was presented to the investment committee during the 23rd Navajo Nation Council and get a little bit more information. Right now, I do know who was on the current investment committee. And I know that a lot of faces and names have changed because of the new administration. So again, I would probably have to find out, how I can go about to get that information. As far as Delegate Raymond Smith, you are correct. It is a big investment. I don't have a problem with doing the directive for the insurance for the hotel. I was just now going through the notes here. I have the documents for the Navajo General Land Development Department, the documents that were shared with me. And nothing in here, does talk about, the floodplains or anything, about a flood. Everything was signed off, by the land department as well as by the chapter, all of the consent letters, the biological resources, everything was signed off. But, if that, I'm happy if we do move forward and do the directive. As far as Delegate Herman Daniels, at RDC, Delegate Daniels, that question was asked. And at that time, if you may recall, when I did present to RDC, Mr. J.T. Willie was on the line, and he did state at that time that there was not a tourism count done because there is not a position that has been filled to do those for any of the tourist locations. So that would include in your area as well, Delegate Daniels. I understand that they recently hired someone to help with this tourist report. However, that hasn't been provided to the 24th Navajo Nation Council. So I can tell you right now that there is not a tourist count. I'm not even sure how they would do that on a road unless they stop people and they take a survey and ask them. But that would probably be up to tourism and economic development in terms of how they want to do that. But at this point, my understanding is they didn't have anybody in that position prior to 24th, prior to 23rd. And that question has come up on several occasions, but we don't have anybody hired currently in the Navajo Nation who can help assist with that. I know that Mr. J.T. Willie did state that they did hire someone to help assist with that tourism report, but to date, I don't believe that that has been presented to the 24th Navajo Nation Council. Mr. Stan Sapp, as my agent, is there anything that you would like to add to this before we turn the floor back over to Speaker Damon?
No, not all. And you're exactly correct on the actual tourist count. I will add, we've been to about 3 different international and national trade shows.
I mean, that's things like hospitality.
About the Shiprock area. And we've got to show, they've shown a great amount of interest. These are the groups that are right now currently in stage, in Page, and then but as part of the Grand Circle, kind of as their circuit. So there's a lot, but the actual count, it's we've looked all over for that kind of data.
Yeah.
So that's really about all I can add.
Thank you for that, Mr. Sapp. So with that, Speaker Damon, I believe that we answered the questions that have been posed to me by my colleagues here. We do stand for more questions. Thank you.
Anything? He has no more time. Thank you very much. That, just for the record, Honorable Daniels, you have no more time. With that, colleagues, we are on the main motion of legislation 0258-21. I don't have anybody else in the queue. Is there any other further comments or questions at this time before I go back to the reserve time?
Sure.
Honorable Eugene So. Eugene So going twice. Eugene So going 3 times. That I'm going back to reserve time.
Ms. Hino.
Chairman Hino.
Hey.
Go ahead, Chairman. Floor is yours.
Speaker Damon sits there. 24th Nomination Council. Madam Chair Charles Newton, the call is on in the so the engineer. Just one question again for Mr. Sapp is to answer the flood insurance question. I'm sure that through your experience as a administrative officer, you have dealt with issues like this and are aware of it. So is that flood insurance part of the design and whole package? Reserve my time.
4:14. Thank you very much. 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Moving on down.
Okay.
Honorable Eugene So, I called on you. I had to come back around. I'm coming back around. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Vice Chair Slater, 3 minutes and 47 seconds. Reserve time.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and thank you, Chair Charles Newton, for requesting that information from the hospitality enterprise. Been trying to understand more of the history and the genesis of this project, and I know that the tax benefits back to the nation were shared at the Navajo committee meeting, and I was wondering if you could share those numbers again. I'll reserve my time. Thank you.
Thank you. 3 minutes and 18 seconds on reserve time. Moving on down, Vice Chair Smith, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Vice Chair Smith, 3 minutes and 40 seconds.
Speaker Damon, I'll reserve my time. Thank you.
Reserve time. 3 minutes and 37 seconds. That, moving on down, let me go back to Madam Chair Charles Newton for response.
Thank you, Speaker. So I will go ahead and turn the floor over to my agent, Mr. Stan Sapp, to answer the questions regarding the flood insurance, and then also the question that was raised by Delegate Carl Slater. But in my notes, I do have that that question was asked by yourself, Delegate Slater, regarding the tax, and I believe the answer was that 368,000 annually will be going back for taxes. And in terms of employment, there will be 100 full-time permanent employees that would be, I guess, part of this hotel. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Mr. Sapp. Mr. Sapp.
Thank you, Delegate Charles Newton. Regarding, Delegate Henio's issue on the flood insurance need and the flood zone area, that's absolutely, it's something taken up early on in the project. That's a civil engineering thing that they'll look at. If it is anything susceptible to flood at all, they kind of raise the pad, the site, figure out how to do it. Sometimes that can be expensive and may perhaps cost prohibitive if you're in a real dangerous flood zone. But that's something for the civil engineers to decide. That study has not been done yet, but that is done just about in step 2 when the architects get to work on it. The civil engineers will be doing that same thing to see if there are any issues that don't meet the eye. But we're well aware of it. And back to the directive of flood insurance, assuming you can get it safely built, then it's flood insurance is just mandatory on the property. But a directive is just fine because that's how we feel about it too. It needs to absolutely happen. I just will echo that the employment and the tax numbers are what our current projections show also. So that's it. The floodplain may be an issue, but we'll deal with it. And that's long before the building's built by any stretch or that any funds spent on it. That's my information, Delegate Charles Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Sapp. So with that, Speaker, I believe that we were able to answer the questions that have been posed. We stand for questions.
Thank you very much with that, colleagues. Is there any other further comments, questions? Oh, actually, I do have Honorable Eugene So waiting in the queue. Honorable Eugene So, are you there now?
Oh, I don't know if I'm in a bad place, I reckon. No, that's what we're here for. In the first place, being a council, try to get money for a younger generation into the future. Part of being a council delegate. The flood control, I think, and that's car, was for long for one that in Central Sata. But internally, we have an area where the Army Corps of Engineer or have to doing a lot of researching. They will let me know where all the water is. Because with internally, Burger King is like it's on an island. It's got its own foundation made that way, so it moves with the ground. And then Denny's, they had to go down 3 feet, come back up, and then go 3 feet again, level with the highway, N7. So that's where Denny is, because of the flood control. 8 area had to take that. So long had to do that. This is all in the whole like this is the Hagi Day, later had 8 you have an ideal kitten song there. 80 what could over had this because there's a lot of money and economic obviously who cards and he's up a card yeah or question by the hadith quality end all these holiday internals and we know we're going to have our own hotels and start competing with other motels off the reservation. They don't yak as they off the reservation go out and feed to the Navajo Nation, but motel, also other, Flagstaff, Page, etc. That's where we should be at right now. But in a shikorovan, just case. So even now, shady because it's a second so you show back at the need and hard but basically banded out as agency penny. I know there's a lot of money, there's a gold mine on the highways. And I don't know if you guys know that we can amend the speeding laws. We could make a lot of money out here on the highways. These people, they go 85 miles an hour on these highways, on the reservation. So based on that, maybe that's what I'm going to drop next time is to up the fine for speeding. So I'm going to make a lot of money that way. In Navajo, shared the cases. We did a really bad mistake down there. The biggest mistake we ever made was in our Antelope Point when we the contract approved is now that water level be that's a beautiful area right there. We should be owning that part of that river. The Snido, that should have been the boundary. And we would be making a lot of money right now. That's where the gold mine is. Just as close as to heaven you can go as duty-wise. So I'm for it, and let's vote on it. Let's don't stop putting questions all over it. I think we already know what we're trying to do. Thank you. Way my time.
Thank you very much. With that, colleagues, any other comments or questions? Oh, Honorable Brown. Good afternoon. Floor is yours.
Ayate. Speaker Ado Denebinal Kitney Dini Bishmas and Ado Shanala Peggy Dida Stad Vedanadit Ahi the Bendan Jahi Nan Nishkan Chad Lini Naltos Bendashotlish. So with this a really good legislation, I do support this legislation for the community of Shiprock. One of the things that this will bring is the economic development. Since the closure of the Kayenta Peabody mine, which displaced over 800 employees and Navajo Generating Station, we are looking at a shortfall, and we knew this in this 24th Navajo Nation Council. We're very well aware of the possibilities of what might happen without a Navajo Nation economic development plan. I think this is a small part of a revenue generating. With that, I know that my communities have been working on a Tri-City tourism initiative. Just last week, we have our team in my 3 chapters. Next month, we will be doing a hike. And the lowest hanging fruit that I understand to other economists is tourism on the Navajo Nation. So this will contribute to the Shiprock Hotel, will only enhance and bring funding. So my recommendations would be to work with the Grand Circle. And I'm really interested to see what the New Mexico tourism numbers are, as far also with the Parks and Recreation numbers. Again, colleagues, if we can look at the Navajo Nation Tourism Department, this is where Mr. McCabe's work. Sitting on Budget and Finance, we have been asking for the study throughout the Navajo Nation. And that's why we allocated funding to hire 2 personnel. One was an economist, which we have met, but we would like to hear more of her plans. The other one was an energy consultant, which was Ms. Pilar Thomas. We want to make sure that we invest and put our money where there are visitors. So one of the things is the economic development opportunities for our Navajo communities and people. 2 would be creating Shiprock as another tourism hub for the Southwest. 3 would be the statistic numbers, again, would be found on the state tourism website. Be mindful that the last 2 years, of course, we're in this pandemic. And again, colleagues, when the president of the Navajo Nation puts a mandate on closures and restrictions for travel, what I'm hearing from my 3 communities, as far as one of the gas station manager texted me yesterday and asked me, can you please lift the mask mandate? I have people yelling at me, my staff get yelled at, and we're losing business. And I think when the president puts these, I'm really interested on how many businesses closed since some of these mandates that were enforced on the Navajo Nation, including Gallup. I know, we had a chiropractor in Kayenta who left because of these closures. So he was really upset, and other restaurants and cafes. So I just want to be mindful, colleagues, that, that we are mindful with these very important investments, that we do not have any more closures. Of course, we will always protect our Navajo people. That's number 1 priority for myself and for this 24th Navajo Nation Council. There are safety measures that we can still go by as well. So again, Navajo Tourism Office, we need your help. Please produce these numbers so we can back up some of these important legislations. So development on Navajo Nation, again, let's collaborate with the Tri-City Tourism Highway Corridor 491. The possibility, the water that's there in Shiprock, you have something that's very valuable, and it's the water that's going through your community. The blessings of water that's going through that, the possibilities are endless. So I do support this legislation. Yeah,
Thank you. That, colleagues, let me continue on down. We'll go to one more of our colleagues, and I'll go back to Madam Chair Charles Newton for response. With that, Honorable Stewart, good afternoon. The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, and the colleagues of the 24th Navajo Nation Council. Chairwoman Charles Newton, the legislation through all the committees that it went through. Council concerns and questions that have arisen from the time that Navikia happened to now. There's always the opportunity council to ask some more questions. But I wanted to say, yes, I do support this legislation. Chairwoman Charles Newton, there is a decline in, there was a decline in our hotel and motel stays as well from 2019 to 2020 of about $33 million. This would really be a benefit to the Navajo Nation, especially in that area of the northern part of the Navajo Nation. As ownership goes to, with Navajo hospitality, leading the forefront on it, or Medallion, to lead us in that, to show the nation and the community members there how to run this business. Run the operations from customer service to even cleaning the rooms and taking care of the rooms, and also the bedding and whatnot as well, to make sure that these hotels stay up to par. I do want to say that I do support this legislation. I just wanted to ask you to consider, that our prices may increase as well too, into a RDB over the Navajo Nation overall is not even prepared for any type of major development such as these. We're still stuck in the past of only residential and trading post setups, but we need more power into these communities. We need three-way systems in there. And we also need our roads improved for the inlet outlets. And when you do get those, the ones that live around that area. But I'm sure that all these things will work out in a positive way in that manner with you and the others that will be working on this and continuing forward as well with whoever takes over if that happens. But the foresight now is to see what happens with this and to make sure that these fundings do get out there to the communities. And then I've always stated, that I do support the small businesses. Of course, this is be a small business for the nation. Chairwoman Charles Newton. Speaker, reserve my time. Thank you.
Reserve your time at 1 minute and 42 seconds. That, let me go back to you, Madam Chair. Charles Newton as a sponsor.
Honorable Eugene So for support on this legislation. It's always nice to hear delegates coming out and saying that they support something, especially in a community outside of what they represent, and I appreciate that. For Delegate Nathaniel Brown, I agree with you 100% that tourism is certainly an area that we should be looking at in terms of economic development, and that hasn't been explored right now. I know that we do see a lot of tourism, and I know that you in your area, there's a large number of tourists who also come through. And in fact, there at Chambers yesterday, we had some people from France who came in, and who wanted to see the mural there in Chambers because they had read about it. And I had talked to them outside Chambers before going in for council yesterday morning, and they were talking about how they had come here to the United States to see the Southwest, but they were so interested in seeing that mural because they had read about it in a magazine. I'm not sure exactly which magazine. I asked them if they could send me a copy of that magazine since it's talking about the mural there in Chambers. But we do have people who are coming onto the Navajo Nation from different countries, not only, I guess, who are coming to the Navajo Nation, not only from within the United States, but throughout the whole world. We see it all the time. We stop, we have conversations with the people. And so I think that, it would be nice to have an economic development plan, and especially something that did talk about tourism. And that was one thing that I had been requesting. I don't know how many times I requested that from the president's office, asking, what is the plan for economic development? What is your plan? Because you are correct, Delegate Nathaniel Brown, that when we voted to close the coal mines, we all knew that there was going to be a shortfall. And I always tell people all the time, I voted to close that coal mine. And I thought that we were going to have a plan in place because, we were supposed to work together. But I think because of COVID, everything kind of turned. And so now, here we are in our last few months on the 24th Navajo Nation Council, and there's still not really a plan on how to build economic development. I like that Tri-City initiative. I would be very interested in hearing, I know that other delegates are also doing that same thing too. They're kind of banding together, to try to increase the tourism count. And I'm interested in that. And then as far as opening up to 100%, know that on February 21st at 4:58 p.m., I did drop legislation to open up our businesses and chapters to 100%. On April 14th at 11:16 a.m., I dropped the same legislation, but it was my second request. And to date, it has not been drafted. And I think that, we do need to have that discussion. My argument for opening back up, especially for our businesses to 100%, is that we, all of us, as well as the president, we have been, going to different areas. I myself have gone to Washington, D.C., a couple of times, and I have also gone to Seattle, to meet with Key Bank. But we are, taking these trips off the Navajo Nation. And, where in these areas, they're open at 100%. And we're the only ones that are still not open yet. And I see how it's affecting our businesses, and then especially those, the entrepreneurs who are off on the side of the road selling their jewelry. I see how it's impacting them. I have Four Corners just here in my backyard, and I always, head out there to see how they're doing. And that's one of the requests that they have made as well, is when are we going to open back up to 100%? And it's very unfortunate that here we are in July, and we're seeing all of the communities around us who are opening up to 100%. And we also just got news that the president is supporting, the Navajo Nation Fair. We're going to be attracting thousands of people to the Window Rock community, and yet we're still not at 100% open. And we are also getting ready to discuss ARPA money to our chapters, and our chapter houses aren't even open at 100%. So I did drop did drop a legislation in February to open back up, but that hasn't been done. And then I made a second request in April as well. And again, that hasn't been done. So I do agree that we do need to, not only look at tourism, but also look at the opening of our businesses, which I do support. So thank you for that, Delegate Brown. And then for Delegate Wilson Stewart, thank you for supporting the legislation. I know that there are still a lot of questions out there regarding this project, but I think in terms of, economic development, this is just one opportunity. And as Delegate Nathaniel Brown stated, we have tourism, and we haven't really, we really haven't done very much. In fact, although I haven't listened to every presidential forum, I have listened to a few, and it seems like tourism is not really something that many of them are discussing right now. They're talking about the extraction of natural resources, where they stand on helium, where they stand on oil and gas, but there's not really anything that has talked about tourism. And I think that Delegate Herman Daniels, did talk about how in his area, that it would be nice to have a hotel. I support. I know that at one time, hospitality did share information about, I think it's like the Goldings Lodge. I think that's what it's called. And I know that I was very interested in that, and then it kind of dropped momentum. And I recently did email Speaker Damon, I believe it was last week, to see if we can get an update on what's happening with Goldings Lodge, because as you know, that is right there in front of Monument Valley, and it's the only hotel there, in front of Monument Valley. And I do want to say that, to my colleagues, I do support, tourism. I do support, economic development. And I think had COVID not happened, I really think that things would have been really different, and we would have had those in-depth conversations about how can we bring money back to the Navajo Nation? How can we, increase, the jobs here on the nation? But in reality, we spent maybe two and a half years focused just on COVID. And that's not a fault of anybody, but it really is the reality of what happened. So we did see a decline in economic development. We also saw a decline in tourism, but most importantly, what we didn't have a thorough discussion on is the ideas that we had on how to build our Navajo Nation economy and how to bring jobs back here to the Navajo Nation. And so it's really unfortunate that that never happened. But, here we are starting to pick back up. And I know that Chair Nez, did talk about that the last time, how are we bringing ideas to the table to build our economy? And this is one that I know that, will help support the entire Navajo Nation because of the tax the potential tax that could be coming through, but also the impact that would have, with creating jobs in our community, and just kind of creating a positive, something positive, not only in the Shiprock community, but in the Northern Agency as a whole. So Mr. Stan Sapp, as my agent, is there anything that you would like to add?
No, not at all. Said. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sapp. So with that, Speaker Damon, I do believe that we answered all the questions and the concerns that have been posed by colleagues. I'm turning the floor back over to you, but we stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. With that, colleagues, we'll go ahead and go back to the floor. Honorable Jimmy Yellow here. Good evening. Actually, good afternoon. The floor is yours.
Hello, good afternoon, Speaker, Navajo Nation Council. Arun Shmayar, Charles Student, Madam Chair, is one of the most very important legislation before the Navajo Nation Council. I believe on socio-economic development. I believe we will have to somehow have economic growth. We should believe in that one. We should not use any assumptions, any negative. We should not use those. We need to believe economic development has to grow. And think about it, how much money can go back to the Navajo Nation revenue. We need to get this economic development growth. That's our number one priority. That's my priority. And where the motel will be built, that's a good prime area. About the on that, you not have more traffic here than Windora. Even okay. No, about the Kati and Johnny Yat Aron, the single corn flat navigation. So yat equipment, construction. They don't put it down a roya. But I hear of yat in general. General had it and general the Chevy Tech 100%. We are very behind on this economic development. Tuba cities were way far ahead in his large economic development. His large Tuba city. I could credit share was not on dot Arkansas. And Francis Chesi at on Niki, Katos Maya City. I don't that the craggy stock. No, we don't even see the comments coming around. All we need to do is Navajo Nation Council is to reevaluate the land lease agreement. That's what we need to do. We need to bring economic development then have a workshop on this one right here. On Navajo Nation I can't how come profit is business economic development let's vote on this one right here. We vote that this continue. Let's vote on it. I should have a request for this debate and vote on it. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. That your time at 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Move on down. Honorable Paul Begay.
Thank you, Speaker. Yeah. Hello again. Thank you to the 24th Navajo Nation Council for sticking together and doing the work for our people. Although the presenter of this and sponsor of this legislation is Honorable Chair Charles Newton. Yeah, though I believe we all are in consensus when it comes to
community development. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
I heard a couple of sounds that I thought I was being dropped. Anyway, so I do agree. As like I said, community should be concentrating on economic development. But one thing that really bothers me, and that includes my communities, 5 chapters that I oversee. We have beautiful rock formations, valleys, canyons that can be open to the tourism. And at the same time, this planning for a hotel to accommodate all these tourists coming to our area. But one thing that really bothers me is that what that unsightly damaged homes that are still existing within our communities. We can say all we want about our beautiful land, but we have burnouts. I think we as a council should concentrate on this cleanup. We have trading posts that used to exist, and a part of the walls are still standing. And Lord knows if they have asbestos and dangerous things on them. I know that in my area, Tonalea, there used to be an IHS building, small building, but that building's still standing. Nobody seems to want to claim that it's their responsibility to clean it up. Yes, it's good that we are talking about economic development and money-making ventures. But I think we should also concentrate on these cleanups. I see. I think you all probably agree with me that in every community, a court, burnout, then there's no cleanups and abandoned buildings, or your graffiti that the Chicago. In order to say that we truly have beautiful land and beautiful place so that the tourists can come and stay at our brand new hotels, we need to clean these up. Trading posts abandoned Italia or your graffiti the Bacao. Those can be cleaned up, and possibly a truck stop can go in their place. Economic development plan. We wanted 10 more years to come up with an economic plan. So now we have to plan for however and whatever can replace those revenues. I don't have any questions. I think the only thing I have is the concern that we need to beautify our communities so that we can truly say that we have a beautiful place, and we make it beautiful enough so that the tourists and visitors can feel welcome and not be looking at our unsightly buildings and things like that. Thank you, Speaker. Reserve my time.
Reserve your time in 3 seconds. That Honorable Hall-Brigade, thank you. Moving on down, colleagues, I don't have anybody else in the queue, so let me go ahead and go back to reserve time. Vice Chair Slater, 3 minutes, 18 seconds.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you, sponsor and the presenter. I appreciate the information that's been provided. The reason I ask these questions is I think we as a council and as a nation need to consider what is the best possible deal for the Navajo Nation when it comes to our return on investment. And the amount of taxes, which was quoted as $368,000 on a $22.5 million investment, or grant, I should say, is 1.6% annually. And if we look at what the nation receives in the stock market, I think, you know, in the worst of times, we're getting about 5%. So, you know, we have to consider where each dollar is and is it providing the maximum impact. Here, we get the benefit of employment for our people, a facility that will be able to be used by Navajo Nation programs so that they don't have to travel off the reservation. And those are incredible things. And I hope that it'll have a multiplier effect in how the community will benefit and the region will benefit. I think the concept is a no-brainer and I support it in that way. But when we are going to take out another $11 million from the nation's coffers that we'll never get back again, we need to look at other ways to finance projects like this. Going forward, you know, I really think that the nation should have a protocol for assessing these economic development projects whereby they go to the investment committee first, because I know the 23rd Council said, gaming, you got to go get outside capital. So they got outside capital. And then when the pandemic hit, they lost all their reserves. And they said it's going to take 10 years or so to actually construct this project. Now, hospitality is coming. They did not receive outside capital to construct this project, and the nation is not enforcing that standard on them. But we are going to give them the $11.4 million. And I think that, you know, it's a good deal to be an enterprise. Sometimes we pick and choose our winners among the enterprises. But when it comes to private Navajo Nation businesses, we don't afford them the same types of investments, and we don't have a way to sort of create equity in the playing field there or equality of access. It doesn't mean that we're picking winners and losers, but I think these are just really important points that we need to consider as a council and as policymakers and appropriators as we move forward. There's a history in this country of states doing a race to the bottom in composing tax deals and all sorts of different economic development packages where a lot of jobs are promised and the jobs maybe come through, but the benefit back to the state and back to the government doesn't end up being that good. The tax revenues, the things that are needed to maintain the streets and the infrastructure don't end up coming back to the nation. So I appreciate your work, Delegate Charles Newton. This is a monumental task that you put forward, but I think these are important points we need to raise.
Thank you. That moving on down, Vice Chair Smith, then I'll go back to Madam Chair Charles. And Vice Chair Smith, 3 minutes and 37 seconds on reserve time. Vice Chair Smith going twice with reserve time of 3 minutes and 37 seconds. Vice Chair Smith going 3 times. Moving on down, Chairman Henio, 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Chairman Henio, 4 minutes and 14 seconds on reserve time. That 4 minutes, 14 seconds, going 3 times, Chairman Henio. We go back to Madam Chair Charles Newton at this time for response. Madam Chair Charles Newton, floor is yours.
Speaker Henio, I was on the line, I was trying to call in.
Madam Chair Charles Newton.
I'm here, Speaker. I'm sorry, I was just waiting for Chair Henio to finish speaking.
The floor is yours.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Ikiha Shitsui, Delegate Jimmy Yellowhair, for your support. I know since the very beginning you have been supporting this project as it was brought forward and presented to Budget and Finance. At that time, gaming was taking over, or gaming was responsible for this project. So I do appreciate the support that you've given for this legislation. For Delegate Paul Begay, I do agree with you about making our communities beautiful and for cleaning them up. I want to remind Council that we did pass legislation in a BIAU-18-21, which was specifically to help clean up the Shiprock area community. And what I did was I went to the BIA and I asked them to clean up the 47 buildings that they own here in the Shiprock community. I did not come to Council and ask for funding. I did not come to the Navajo Nation and ask for funding. I advocated at the federal level and was able to successfully, with the help of community members, we were successful in getting federal funds in the amount of $3.3 million to demolish and abate the vacant 47 BIA buildings here in Shiprock. That funding has gone through the process, and we have been meeting with the Bureau of Indian Affairs these last couple of months to try to put together a timeline for demolition. It is a little bit tricky in that BIA has to go in and they have to do abatement, which requires them to look at each individual building to determine whether there are any health concerns in that building that they need to be aware of before demolishing. So we are working on demolishing that area at the same time. In addition to that, we also have on the 5-year plan, it was revealed to me by Mr. J.T. Willie and also at a Northern Agency Council meeting that the bonds and bonds would be demolished, and it is part of that 5-year plan. I did send an email to J.T. Willie on June 29th at 9:56 a.m. asking him if he could send me the 5-year plan because there's other Shiprock projects that were also included on that plan. To date, he has not sent the plan yet. The last update that we did receive was that it was completed and it had to go before Resources and Development, but he did announce that there would be funding to demolish that bonds and bonds building. So we are working on that at the same time. And I'm also working with Indian Health Services right now to have them demolish the IHS homes. For almost 1.5 years, BIA and IHS went back and forth blaming each other on who owned those homes. And we found out that Indian Health Services is actually the owner of the 3 abandoned homes up on US 64. So I have been working with, I was working with Ms. Rosalind So on this project, but because she did get a promotion, she's trying to reassign the project is my understanding, but IHS did get some funding to do the abatement and they also have it included in their listing. So please know, Delegate Paul Begay, that I am working to clean up the Shiprock community, and none of those funds I came, not one time did I come to council asking for funds to get those taken care of. I found out who owned them, I held them accountable, and I'm getting funds to make sure that we get these areas cleaned up. We did start the process in 2019, but a lot of the holdup was because of COVID. And so again, we did get the email from the BIA regarding the $3.3 million that was awarded. And this is specifically specifically stated within BIA's budget that this 3.3 million has to be to address the vacant BIA buildings in Shiprock. And it's detailed in the budget request that was sent, that $1.5 trillion package that was sent, that's specific and it's programmatic language. So it can't be taken, it has to be used specifically for this project. As Delegate Carl Slater, you did ask questions, about this deal. I noticed that you do have a couple of legislations that this council did approve. One specifically 29 million for the Navajo Land Nursing Home, and you talked about, the small businesses, and I agree. And that was why I voted green for that legislation. And I didn't ask any questions about return on investment or how much money that was going to be returned back to the Navajo Nation. The way that I looked at it as one council delegate is it's helping the people. And so, that's how I looked at the investment, is that it would be helping the Navajo people as well as creating jobs. And for me, that was enough for me to vote green. And I also noticed that you have $10 million right now going through the process to establish a new outdoor recreation fund for the Navajo Nation. So, I think that every delegate looks at things differently in the way that they vote. But I can say that when it comes to economic development on the Navajo Nation, I do ask questions, but I also make sure that our Navajo people would be getting something out of it. And in this case, I truly believe that with hospitality taking over this project, and we had to move very quickly because we have permanent trust fund money that's attached to this. And as far as I know, there was not any small businesses that own hotel chains that had applied for taking over this project. And even then, we would still have to question whether if there was an outside vendor who came on to the Navajo Nation, whether we would have to waive our sovereign immunity. And I know that that's a question that we always go back and forth on. And at this point, I think that based on everything that was happening right now and based on the timelines that are attached to this project, it made sense to ask an enterprise to take over this project. And it's going from one enterprise to another enterprise. And so I think that, that yes, hospitality didn't get any outside capital, maybe that's something, that we can possibly discuss. But I do know that a private company did come and they did present a plan, but it was a plan that I didn't listen to because I was a little bit worried of it going back to ethics. And so, again, this was the best alternative option at this point. So if you want to vote red on this, that's fine. That's your one delegate. Every delegate has a right to vote. I am just presenting this legislation on behalf of the Northern Agency and the Four Corners, the various monuments and, the tourism department that we see here. And there isn't a hotel right now in the Northern Agency. And we do see an increase of tourism. But again, I will leave that decision up to you on whether you want to vote green or red on this legislation. I believe that I answered all of the questions. Mr. Stan Sapp, as my agent, is there anything that you would like to add to the questions and the comments that have been made thus far?
No, not at all. Nothing from me.
Thank you, Mr. Sapp, and thank you, Speaker. I turn the floor back over to you at this time. I think I answered all of the questions and the concerns that have been posed by my colleagues. I stand for questions.
Thank you very much. With that, colleagues, let me go ahead and go back to the floor. Any other further comments or questions at this time? If there's none, let me go back to reserve time. Honorable Stewart, 1 minute and 42 seconds on reserve time.
So, Speaker, I'll go ahead and give my time to Delegate Vice Chair Slater if he wants it. If not, I'll waive my time.
Vice Chair Slater, 1 minute and 38 seconds. You need it? There you go. Floor yours.
Thank you very much, Delegate Stewart. And thank you, Chair Charles Newton. I think you misinterpreted what I was saying. I support the project. I just wanted to raise these points because they're about economic development, whereas the Veterans Nursing Home and the outdoor recreation grant, while there is potentially an economic development angle there, those are about government services. They're not about making money off of our grandmas and grandpas or our veterans and service members or our young people who are trying to develop outdoor recreation assets within their communities so that there's a higher quality of life. So no, you have my support and I'll be voting green for this. I just think that when it comes to the Navajo Nation, we need to be rigorous in exhausting all of our options and making sure that we're getting the best possible deal for all of our people. So I'm sorry if you construed it that way, but I'll be voting green. You've had my support this whole time at Nabi and today. And I just needed to raise those points. I think they're items that a lot of our business owners and the economic community on the Navajo Nation have been looking at. And again, the Veterans Nursing Home is not about making money. It's a government service, so it's not kind of apples and oranges. But thank you very much for bringing this important legislation to us, and you'll have my vote. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Moving on down, Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair, 2 minutes and 3 seconds.
Hello, and good afternoon again. To the speakers out on the 24 councilman, and then plus my Madam Chair. I'm very proud of this legislation that bring before, and thank you very much for all that. I also think about cleanup. We need to clean up, get rid of those malls, all those buildings that shouldn't be there. That's really eyesore. So we need to get those. Behind you, Madam Chair and Business Development. That's in my lap. Let's see something for the people, take care of our people too. There's no more trading posts. We all know that. Yeah, Paul Gay, he's right. There's a lot of old trading posts still standing. No, it's just empty, and we need to do something about it. I want to about this. The economic development by UST River Fletcher. There's a nice building out there. All need was roofing repair. I understand somebody moving the trading post, but that was part of the bill still need for economic development. If Mr. J.T. Will is on the line, I'd like to maybe research on that one or answer that one. Then I'll wait my time, Speaker, and let's vote on this legislation. As you have Speaker, Dorset, my colleague, is in the 24 councilman, asking Hakeem, thank you very much. Appreciate it. God bless each one of us. Yeah, once it all.
Thank you very much.
I'll wait my time.
Thank you. With that, move on down then. Waiving your time, a remainder of your time, which was 23 seconds. Moving on down, Honorable Paul Begay, 3 seconds.
Speaker, I'll wait my time. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on down, Vice Chair Smith, 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
Speaker, this is Delegate Charles Newton. I can't hear anything. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can, Madam Chair. Sorry, we were just Vice Chair Smith going twice. Yeah, 3 minutes and 37 seconds on serve time. I don't see him on the list. Mr. Smith going 3 times. Moving on down, Chairman Hino on reserve time, 4 minutes and 14 seconds. On reserve time. Only twice, Chairman Hino. You have 4 minutes and 14 seconds on reserve time. Only 3 times. Colleagues, I don't have anybody else in the queue. Anybody else in the reserve time for your vote? Only twice. Only 3 times. Let's go to board on legislation 0258-21 with no amendments. Go to board.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
I'll vote green.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr.
Delegate Key Allen votes green.
Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes green. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton.
Delegate Charles Newton votes green.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton votes green. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty.
Shadow, this is Delegate Amber Canespa-Crotty. I vote green. Thank you.
Honorable Amber Canespa. Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr.
Vote green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr. votes green. Honorable Mark Freeland.
I vote green.
Honorable Mark Freeland votes green. Honorable Pernell Halona. Honorable Pernell Halona. Honorable Pernell Halona did not vote. Honorable Jamie Hino.
Hino votes green.
Honorable Jamie Hino votes green. Honorable Vince James. Honorable Vince James. Honorable Vince James did. Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Rick Nez.
I cannot vote due to conflict of interest.
Honorable Carl Slater votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. Honorable Raymond Smith
Green.
Jr. Honorable Raymond Smith
Green.
Jr. votes green. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr.
Green.
Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. votes green. Honorable Otto So. Honorable Otto So.
I can't vote due to conflict of interest.
Honorable Charlene So.
I vote green.
Honorable Charlene So votes green. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Honorable Honorable Daniel So votes green. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. did not vote. Honorable Edison Winika. Honorable Edison Winika. Honorable Edison Winika votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie.
Green.
Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair votes green.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Going back up. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Halona votes green.
Honorable Pernell Halona votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. did not vote. Speaker, with the vote of 20 in favor, 0 opposed, and Speaker not voting.
Thank you very much for that, colleagues.
Speaker, motion to recess.
That, colleagues, 21 in favor, 0 opposed, and Speaker not voting. Motion carries on legislation 0258-21. Again, colleagues, that legislation is destined for council due to the fact that it is an allocate appropriation. Yes.
Speaker Damon.
Chairman Yazzie.
Yeah,
Vice Chair Walker, and then Vice Chair Smith.
Speaker, I'd like to make a motion to recess, start tomorrow. We're bright and early.
Motion to recess by, well, hold on real quick. Let me see if there's I don't want to accept that motion just yet. Hold on, Vice Chair Walker.
Speaker, no council members. I voted green on the last legislation.
What is it?
And unused, so I texted, but it was not acknowledged.
So is it 21 still? Vice Chair Walker, we did get your vote.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Is your Honorable Vice Chair Smith, is your question pertaining to a vote?
Speaker, this is pertaining to the directive that I want to do after the vote on the main motion.
Okay. I'm going to, as Honorable Edmund Yazzie was in the queue first. Chairman Yazzie, I don't know if you want to withdraw after Vice Chair or if you want to move forward.
Speaker, members of the council, yeah, because Mr. Smith gave me some time earlier, so I'll just withdraw.
I'll come back to you after. Honorable Vice Chair Smith, is it directive? Do you have, did you send out that information or Office of Legislative Counsel or?
Yes, Speaker, good afternoon, 24th Navajo Council. I sent the draft copy to Manuel Rico, and it's been prepared and it's complete and it's ready to be acted upon.
You guys have it?
Preserve it.
Mr. Rico is not here. Ms. Nakai is taking over for Mr. Rico. Office Legislative Council, do you have that?
Thank you, Speaker. No, I don't think it was sent to Office of Legislative Council. I'm not seeing anything in my emails. Perhaps Delegate Smith sent it to a different attorney other than myself, but I'm not seeing it.
So it hasn't been reviewed yet by Office Legislative Council.
No, we don't. I haven't seen anything about it.
Honorable Vice Chair Smith, there's two things. One, again, we can do this. We can do a directive throughout the entire time that we're in session. So we could come to that tomorrow morning. You should send that directive to
Speaker Damon?
Office of Legislative Council so that they can review it.
Speaker Damon, I was working with Lapahi, I think that's her name, and she did send it earlier, and I thought Rico was still on board, and I sent that around about 5 minutes ago to Rico. I don't know if OLC Lapahi is still around.
Thank you, Speaker. I apologize. Obviously, lack of communication in our office. Ms. Tapaye did review the directive, so I will turn the floor over to her. Thank you, Speaker.
If she could just send that over so we can get it right into the record.
Okay.
To Ms. Nakai, or to Jalissa, or even the Chief of Staff.
Okay, I will have it done.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I'm doing that right now.
There it is. I'm going to read that into the record. Colleagues are sending it out right now. Chief. Ms. Nakai, if you could read the directive into the record.
Speaker, can you hear me?
Yeah, but this is already required, though. No matter what.
Okay,
Can you hear it?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And
I can't hear you.
Navigation Council. Can't hear. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the Navajo Nation Council. This is a directive to the Navajo Nation Hospitality Enterprise. The Navajo Nation Hospitality Enterprise shall explore options for obtaining adequate flood insurance for the Shiprock Hotel Restaurant project and shall provide a report on such options to the Nabikia Committee no later than 30 days following the effective date of this act. Speaker.
Yes. That is a motion by Vice Chair Smith. Is there a second? By Honorable Eda Suwanika. Any comments, questions, colleagues? On a directive motion. Going twice. 23 times. For the board.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
I vote green.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes green. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr.
Yeah, votes green. Thank you.
Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. votes green. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay votes green.
Honorable Paul Begay votes green. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes red. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton.
I vote green.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton votes green. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty did not vote. Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr.
Green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr. votes green. Honorable Pernell Halona. Oh, I'm sorry. Honorable Mark Freeland votes green. Honorable Pernell Halona. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Halona votes green.
Honorable Pernell Halona votes green. Honorable Jamie Henyo. Honorable Jamie Henyo. Honorable Jamie Henyo did not vote. Honorable Vince James. Honorable Vince James. Honorable Vince James did not vote.
Delegate James votes green. Can you hear me?
Honorable Vince James votes green.
Okay, thank you.
Honorable Rick Nez does not vote.
I can't vote due to conflict of interest.
Honorable Carl Slater votes green. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr.
Green.
Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. votes green. Honorable Otto So not voting due to conflict of interest. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So votes green via text. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Honorable Eugene So.
Okay, so
Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green via text. Honorable Edison Wanika votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie. Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green via text. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair votes green. Thank you.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Going back up. Honorable Nathaniel Brown changed his vote to green. Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty.
Senate, this is Delegate Amber Crotty. I vote green.
Honorable Amber Canespa Crotty votes green. Honorable Jamie Henyo. Honorable Jamie Henyo.
Green.
Honorable Jamie Henyo votes green. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Speaker, with a vote of 20 in favor, 0 opposed, and speaker not voting.
Thank you very much for that, colleagues. On the directive, 20 in favor, 0 opposed. And speaker not voting, motion carries. And we'll go back to Chairman Yazzie. Chairman.
Motion, Speaker, members of council, everyone, recess until tomorrow morning, sir.
Colleagues, there's a motion to recess by Chairman Yazzie at 5:18 p.m. Be mindful, colleagues, that we have only completed one item of business under new business. How many is left? And there are 15 legislations left. 15 legislations, and we completed 2 so far today. Is there a second to recess?
Delegate Yellowhair.
Jamila here. That, colleagues, go to board.
Honorable Elmer Begay.
I vote red.
Honorable Elmer Begay votes red. Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr.
Delegate Key Allen votes red.
Honorable Key Allen Begay Jr. votes red. Honorable Paul Begay.
Delegate Paul Begay votes red.
Honorable Paul Begay votes red. Honorable Nathaniel Brown votes red. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton. Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton.
Charles Newton votes red.
Honorable Eugenia Charles Newton votes red. Honorable Amber Canesba Crotty.
Shada, this is Delegate Amber Canesba. I vote green.
Honorable Amber Canesba Crotty votes green. Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr.
I vote green.
Honorable Herman M. Daniels Jr. votes green. Honorable Mark Freeland votes green. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Because we're going right here. Okay.
Honorable Pernell Halona.
Good.
Honorable Pernell Halona did not vote. Honorable Jamie Henyo.
He votes green.
Honorable Jamie Henyo votes green. Honorable Vince James.
Delegate James votes green.
Honorable Vince James votes green. Honorable Rick Nez.
Delegate Rick Nez votes green.
Honorable Rick Nez votes green. Honorable Carl Slater votes red. Honorable Raymond Smith Jr. votes green. Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr.
Green.
Honorable Wilson Stewart Jr. votes green. Honorable Otto So.
Vote red.
Honorable Otto So votes red. Honorable Charlene So. Honorable Charlene So votes green via text. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Honorable Eugene So. Honorable Eugene So votes green. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. did not vote. Sorry, Honorable Thomas Walker Jr. votes green via text. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika. Honorable Edison Wanika votes green. Honorable Edmund Yazzie.
Green.
Honorable Edmund Yazzie votes green. Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair.
Delegate Yellowhair votes green.
Honorable Jimmy Yellowhair votes green. Going back up. Honorable Pernell Halona.
Halona votes green.
Honorable Pernell Halona votes green. Honorable Daniel So. Right here, this one, yeah. Honorable Daniel So. Honorable Daniel So did not vote. Speaker, with a vote of 15 in favor, 7 opposed, and Speaker not voting.
Colleagues, with 15 in favor, 7 opposed, we are officially in recess at 5:18 p.m. this evening. With that, colleagues, we will be starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. on legislation 0021-22. Colleagues, there's nothing tomorrow morning before that, right? There's no recognitions. They were all this morning. Okay. Well, in that case, colleagues, have a good evening. See you when we see you tomorrow.